everyone, it's me, CNP, and today we're back with another ASMR video. Now, it's very rare that I do two back-to-back non-ASMR gaming videos, but today I thought it would be fun to go over all of the NBA free agency moves so far. It is currently Monday, so I am filming this video the morning of it being uploaded, and there's been a ton of moves so far. I do want to give one quick shout out to my boy ASM Baller. I feel like every time I have an idea that I want to upload on the channel when it comes to like NBA and anything not 2K related but still basketball related, that man's already beat me to it. So big shout out to ASM Baller for the great basketball content. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably already subscribed to him anyways, but if you're not, definitely go subscribe to that man, ASM Baller. That being said, sit back, relax. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think it's possible, but I think we can do it. Also, if you haven't followed my Twitch, please go over to twitch.tv/collectandplay. Link in the description, and follow me on Twitch. Alright guys, let's get into this video. Alright, so for this video, I'm going to be using the ESPN free agency tracker, which has all of the moves in chronological order. And we're going to be starting on the morning of November 16th, because that's kind of when some trades started to formulate and kind of take place before free agency even started. So, with the first move, we have the Blockbuster trade of the Detroit Pistons trading Bruce Brown to the Brooklyn Nets for forward Musa. It's some guy I've never even heard of, and a second round pick. I'm obviously being facetious here. That is not the biggest trade in the world, but here we have the real Blockbuster trade. The Oklahoma City Thunder finalized a deal to send Chris Paul and Abdel Nader to the Phoenix Suns for Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen Leck, and a 2022 first round pick. That's crazy. So Oklahoma City gets yet another first round pick, and they have an abundance of draft picks in the future. It's insane how many draft picks they have, but they actually, in my opinion, this is an awesome trade for the Thunder. They got Ricky Rubio, they got Kelly Oubre, which I believe they've turned around and like pawned them off elsewhere, and we'll get to that later, but that was a solid trade for the Thunder, I think. Then Milwaukee Bucks center Robin Lopez declined his player option and became a free agent. He was the backup to his twin brother Brook Lopez. Chicago Bulls will not extend a qualifying offer to Shaquille Harrison, which will make Harrison an unrestricted free agent. This offseason, he spent 2 years in Chicago, so Shaquille Harrison is going into free agency. The Spurs announced that small forward, first of all, he's definitely a shooting guard, not a small forward. What is that? DeMar DeRozan has exercised his player option for the 2020-2021 season. So he is going to stay with the Spurs, which is not really, I'm betting that player option was probably for quite a bit of money. The Houston Rockets all-star James Harden turned down an extension that would have paid him $50 million per year with Houston. That is absolutely insane. And he said he wants a trade with the Brooklyn Nets, and I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening whatsoever. But next we have the trade sending all-star point guard Chris Paul and Nader to the Phoenix Suns is now official. So that was kind of like a rumor. It was pretty much all but a done deal. And then, of course, once it became, I think it was wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed to make trades up until free agency began. So that's probably what happened there. Here we have the Rockets finalizing a trade with Portland to send Robert Covington for Trevor Ariza, which I see this as a big win. And the Portland for Trevor Ariza, a 2020 first round pick and a 2021 first round pick. Whoa. Okay. The Rockets won this trade. You're telling me that Robert Covington is worth 2 first round future picks and Trevor Ariza? I don't know. I don't know about that. Covington was traded to Houston from the Minnesota Timberwolves in a mid-season trade that involved Clint Capella. Ariza was traded to Portland from the Sacramento Kings in the mid-season deal that involved Kent Bazemore. So this is all just people just get moved around like crazy. The New Orleans Pelicans, yet another big trade that happened, are nearing completion of a trade with Milwaukee Bucks that would send point guards Eric Bledsoe and George Hill plus 3 future first round picks and pick swaps to New Orleans for shooting guard Drew Holiday. That's so much for Drew Holiday, in my opinion. Drew Holiday is a good point guard / shooting guard, but for all of that, I don't know. Eric Bledsoe used to be a pretty solid stud and can probably be a stud again on his own. If he isn't being like overshadowed by Giannis and Chris Middleton, and I think Eric Bledsoe's a lot better of a player than a lot of people think. And Drew Holiday, he's a good defender, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. This trade, it feels like a win-win. I think it's a win-win, honestly. It's a good trade. So the Milwaukee Bucks are set to acquire Sacramento Kings shooting guard Bogdanovich in a sign-and-trade deal that would send shooting guard Dante DiVincenzo and Ilyasova and DJ Wilson to Sacramento. This trade never went through, and I am very excited about that in the future. Andre Drummond told the Cavaliers that he will exercise his $28.7 million contract option and stay with the team this season, so he's going to wait. He's going to stick it out with the Cavs. He's going to get that bag, that $28 million. And, wow, that is... Can you imagine making that kind of money in 1 year? In 1 year. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Portland Trailblazers forward Rodney Hood is declining his $6 million player option and becoming a free agent. So Hood, even on a torn Achilles, said, I'm going to test free agency, and I'm out of here. But he's expected to play right away. Gordon Hayward and the Boston Celtics have agreed to push the deadline for Hayward's $34 million player option for the 2020-2021 season from its original deadline of 5 p.m. to Thursday at 3 p.m. So a little bit more on Gordon Hayward here in the future, but the New York Knicks are moving up in Wednesday's NBA draft, acquiring the Utah Jazz's pick at number 23 in exchange for the number 27 and number 38 selections. The Knicks now hold the number 8 and number 23 picks in Wednesday's draft. That's not too big of a move, honestly. The Milwaukee Bucks have traded in the second round of the 2020 NBA draft, acquiring the number 45 pick from the Orlando Magic. So that's for 2 future second rounders, so that's just a trading of picks. We have some more. Philadelphia 76ers have dealt Al Horford to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Danny Green and Terrence Ferguson, sources told ESPN's Wash Bomb. The Sixers also sent OKC a lightly protected 2025 first-round pick, the number 34 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, and the rights to Serbian point guard. Not even going to try it. The Detroit Pistons came into the offseason with $30 million in cap space, but after they acquired the number 16 pick Isaiah Stewart and Trevor Ariza from the Houston Rockets, that number has essentially been sliced in half. One option remaining for the Pistons is re-signing free agent Christian Wood. The Sacramento Kings forward Bogdan Bogdanovic plans to enter restricted free agency at 6 p.m. Friday. The Kings and Milwaukee Bucks hope to bring Bogdanovic the framework of a sign and trade to negotiate a Bogdanovic contract with Milwaukee, but he will move into the marketplace to find an offer sheet or seek other sign and trade scenarios. That is wonderful news. The Oklahoma City Thunder have dealt Ricky Rubio to the Minnesota Timberwolves for a package that includes the number 17 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. So he literally just got traded for, the Thunder also sent the number 25 Emmanuel Quickly, which was dealt to the Knicks, and number 28 Jaden McDaniels picks. Okay, so he just essentially got sent to the Timberwolves for some picks. So Ricky Rubio is back on the Timberwolves. The Clippers have dealt Landry Shamet to the Brooklyn Nets in a 3-team deal that includes the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons will receive the number 19 pick in the draft, along with Rodney McGruder, and send Luke Kennard to LA. Wow, I didn't realize Luke Kennard got sent to LA. That's news to me. That's a good pickup for the Clippers. Luke Kennard, I feel like, is still has a kind of chance to develop into something a little bit more than he has been in the past. And I mean, he's been a solid role player for the Pistons, and I think he's better than that team. He deserves better. Hopefully he will get better with the Clippers. The New York Knicks are trading draft picks with the Timberwolves. The Pelicans have dealt the number 24 pick in the draft, R.J. Hampton, to the Denver Nuggets in exchange for a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick. So the Denver Nuggets got R.J. Hampton. That's a pretty solid pickup. Him and what's his name? Michael Porter Jr. Two really young. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. is a little bit older now. He dealt with his injuries early on, but he's just now getting to the point of starting his development. And now they got R.J. Hampton and a lot of young players on that Nuggets team, so that's pretty cool. Utah Jazz are sending Tony Bradley and the number 38 pick in the 2020 NBA draft to the Detroit Pistons for future considerations and cash. So I think the Jazz were kind of opening up cap space there with that move. The Memphis Grizzlies have acquired the number 30 pick in the draft from the Boston Celtics for 2 future second-round picks. The LA Clippers will get the number 33 pick. All right, let's get to the juicy stuff. Enough of these draft picks for draft picks. The Dallas Mavericks have dealt Seth Curry to Philadelphia for Josh Richardson and the number 36 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Wow. Okay. Josh Richardson and a pick for Seth Curry. I feel like the Mavericks won this trade. Josh Richardson is a great player, and they got a pick. And I mean, Seth Curry, to be fair, he is a Curry, but I don't know. Maybe they did that in hopes of, I don't know. The Oklahoma City Thunder have acquired number 37 pick from the Washington Wizards. All right, more just picks for picks. More picks. Okay. Kelly Olynyk of the Miami Heat has exercised his $13.6 million player option, so he's going to be sticking with the Heat for his 3rd third season. Wait, for his fourth season. Sorry about that. Forward Mike Muscala has exercised his $2.28 million player option to return to the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. Interesting. I feel like I see where he's going with that. I feel like he's going to maybe hopefully garner a little bit more playing time in Oklahoma City, and thus probably, raising his price for the following year. If, Mike Muscala could ball out, get himself a bigger contract, kind of prove himself a little bit more. But the New York Knicks have declined the $15.75 million team option on forward Bobby Portis and the $1.7 million team option on guard Theo Benson. New York also waived guards Alfred Payton and Wayne Ellington and center Taj Gibson, all of whom had partially guaranteed contracts for 2020-21. The move frees up $40 million in cap space for the Knicks. Oh my gosh. Tim Hardaway Jr. exercised his $19 million player option to return to the Dallas Mavericks. I would too if I was Tim Hardaway. Mavericks are going to be good next year. Austin Rivers has decided to opt out of his contract to become an unrestricted free agent. Brooklyn Nets are declining Garrett Temple's option for the 2020-21 season. Veteran guard who averaged 10.3 points in 62 games last season will become a free agent. That's actually pretty crazy. I didn't realize he averaged over 10 points per game. That's pretty crazy. The Detroit Pistons are trading Kyrie Thomas and Tony Snell to the Atlanta Hawks for Dwayne Dedman. So the Hawks drafted a center/forward. I can't remember his name. He kind of fell to the Hawks. I think he was projected to go much higher, but was able to get a center/forward in the guy from USC. I remember where he went to USC, but I don't remember his exact name. So I guess that they're expecting him to kind of have a pretty big role if they're sending Dwayne Dedman out. Speaking of centers getting sent out, the Boston Celtics opted into his $5 million contract. Wait. Okay, never mind. Apparently, he opted into his $5 million contract, and then the Celtics said, see you later, and they traded him. But, Frank Kaminsky will become an unrestricted free agent. The Sun said, see you later. Theo Benson is becoming a free agent. Declined team option. Golden State Warriors are nearing a deal. Here's another blockbuster trade. Somewhat blockbuster. I wouldn't call this a blockbuster trade, but a big trade. To acquire Kelly Oubre Jr., the Warriors will absorb Oubre's $14.4 million in salary into their $17.2 million trade exception once the deal is complete. The Boston Celtics have picked up Semi Ojeleyes. I can't remember how to say that. I used to know, but so he's sticking with the team. Utah Jazz are trading Ed Davis and two 2023 second-round picks to the New York Knicks. The Jazz save $5 million in salary. Utah is working to re-sign Jordan Clarkson, Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert. Nice. Here's where things get kind of crazy. Gordon Hayward opted out of his $34 million contract with the Boston Celtics, making him an unrestricted free agent beginning at 6 p.m. So Gordon Hayward testing the free agency. NBA has opened an investigation focused on the trade between Milwaukee Bucks and Sacramento Kings that centered on Bogdan Bogdanović. Wait, what? The two teams agreed to the transaction, including a contract that was set with Bogdanović nearly 4 days before the start of free agency. Bogdanović has now stated that he plans to proceed to restricted free agency on Friday. Big W, and you'll see why I'm saying that here soon. Although all NBA forward Anthony Davis is on course to agree on a new deal with Los Angeles, no formal commitment is expected to come in the immediate days after the start of free agency Friday. So Anthony Davis still hasn't committed to the Lakers, but it's pretty much unforeseen. Like it's definitely gonna happen. Just hours before free agency is set to begin, Nets general manager Sean Marks and Brooklyn's priority is to retain shooting guard Joe Harris, which they actually did. Several teams, including the Atlanta Hawks, are interested in signing Harris. Dang, I didn't know the Hawks were interested in Joe Harris. That would have been a pretty solid signing. The draft night deal that sent number 30 pick to the Memphis Grizzlies has expanded to involve a third team. The Portland Trailblazers will get Enes Kanter from the Boston Celtics, and Mario Hezonja goes from Portland to Memphis. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Kanter returns to the Blazers, with whom had a terrific stretch after signing as a buyout free agent in 2019. I agree. Center Myers Leonard told the AP that he is re-signing with the Heat. Boston Celtics forward Gordon Hayward, who declined his $34 million player option, is open-minded about lots of places. Yeah, you could say that. In addition to signing outright with the Atlanta Hawks or New York Knicks or returning to the Celtics. Oh man, that would have been awesome if the Hawks could have gotten. Man, that could have been so sick. Real Madrid guard has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Denver Nuggets. Okay. Another Drew Eubanks has agreed to a 3-year contract to stay with the Spurs. One free agent center drawing attention from multiple teams is DeMarcus Cousins. Of course he is. Mason Plumlee has agreed to a 3-year, $25 million deal with the Detroit Pistons, which this was kind of a big surprise because I think Detroit really wanted to re-sign Christian Wood. At least they should have re-signed Christian Wood. He was a baller in the second portion of the season last year because, Blake Griffin was hurt and Andre Drummond got sent out, so it was pretty much just him. Guard Dwayne Bacon has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Orlando Magic. Not bad. Center Jahlil Okafor has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Detroit Pistons. Okay. Patrick Patterson is returning to the Clippers on a 1-year deal. Okay. Jordan Clarkson has agreed to a 4-year, $52 million deal with the Utah Jazz. That's nuts. That's crazy. Although Jordan Clarkson, honestly, he's a pretty solid 6-man kind of player, kind of like a Jamal Crawford type 6-man. The man just gets buckets. Oh, here was a big contract. Guard De'Aaron Fox agreed to a 5-year, $163 million extension with the Sacramento Kings. That's crazy. That's insane. Deal could be worth as much as $195.6 million if he meets the NBA's Rose Rule criteria by winning MVP or Defensive Player of the Year, or being named to an All-NBA team. That's crazy. That man De'Aaron Fox has got the incentives to ball out. That's crazy. Center Derek Favors has agreed to a 3-year deal worth nearly $30 million to return to the Utah Jazz. Wow. There's been an aggressively early pursuit of Toronto Raptors center Serge Ibaka by contenders in both conferences. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Josh Jackson finalized a deal with the Detroit Pistons. Danilo Gallinari, here we go. Now we're getting into my Hawks moves, but Danilo Gallinari is finalizing a 3-year, $61.5 million contract with the Atlanta Hawks. Beautiful beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love to see it. Trae Young gets some offensive support in Gallinari. Love it. So, Dwight Howard, here's a story, has agreed to 1-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. His agent confirmed to ESPN the deal is for the veteran's minimum of $2.6 million. League sources told ESPN's Bobby Marks earlier Friday. Howard, who helped the Los Angeles Lakers win the 2020 NBA championship, tweeted, "I'm staying right where I belong. Laker Nation, I love y'all. Purple and gold never gets old." He quickly deleted the tweet. Oh my gosh, Dwight Howard is a character, man. He is something else. Forward Rodney Hood is returning to the Portland Trailblazers on a 2-year, $21 million deal. Anthony Gill has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Washington Wizards. Trey Burke, a 3-year deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Let's see, Malik Beasley has agreed to a 4-year, $60 million deal to remain with the Timberwolves. Beasley averaged 20.7 points in 14 games with the Timberwolves after he was acquired from the Denver Nuggets. I did not know that. Wow, that's crazy. Reigning 6th Man of the Year, Montrezl Harrell is planning to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers for 2 years and $19 million. Wow, that's a solid signing for the Lakers. Davis Bertans has agreed to a 5-year, $80 million deal to return to the Washington Wizards. That's a lot of money. Guard Alec Burks has agreed to a 1-year, $6 million deal with the New York Knicks. Joe Harris agreed to a 4-year, $75 million deal to return to the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, I'm glad the Hawks didn't get Joe Harris for that. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Honestly, I think isn't that more than what they paid 4 years, $75 million deal? Is that more than what they paid Gallinari? 3 years, $61 million deal? Yeah, it is. Wait, is it more per year though? It's less per year. I don't know. It's over $20 million a year for. Okay, so it's less per year, but it's a longer deal. So I'd rather have Gallinari. I'd way rather have Gallinari. Garrett Temple has agreed to a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Bulls. Christian Wood agreed to a 3-year, $41 million deal with the Rockets, and I felt like this was a mad underpayment on Christian Wood. This dude was carrying the Pistons, and he only got $41 million over 3 years. That's kind of crazy. Forward Marcus Morris Sr. has agreed to a 4-year, $64 million deal to remain with the LA Clippers. Okay. No surprises there. No surprises there. Actually, wait, 4 years, $64 million for Marcus Morris Sr. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. Wesley Matthews is signing a 1-year, $3.6 million deal with the Lakers. That's another solid pickup for the Lakers. The Lakers looking like they're going to repeat. Justin Holiday has agreed to a 3-year deal, $18 million with the Indiana Pacers, so he's staying in Indiana. Jeremy Grant has agreed to a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Pistons. Pistons. He was pretty solid for the Nuggets. Reported that in a 3-team deal, the Dallas Mavericks will get James Johnson from the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Detroit Pistons will receive Delon Wright from the Mavericks, and the Oklahoma City will receive Trevor Ariza and Justin Jackson and a future draft pick. That's interesting. Oklahoma City have agreed in principle to trade Steven Adams to the New Orleans Pelicans as part of a multi-team deal, sources told ESPN's Wash. Pelicans are expected to send a 2023 first-round pick and multiple second-round pick, dude. The Thunder have so many picks. It's insane. It's insane what they've got. Ford Derek Jones Jr. has agreed to a 2-year deal, $19 million deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. So he was with the Heat, and he won, the slam dunk champion. James Enos III has agreed to a deal to return to the Orlando Magic. Okay, solid. Robin Lopez to the Wizards on a $5 million deal. Wait. No, he declined his $5 million player option with the Milwaukee Bucks. Doesn't say how much he signed for, but for JaMychal Green has agreed to a 2-year, $15 million deal with the Nuggets. Okay, wow. With a player option in the second season, league sources confirmed to ESPN the Nuggets, man, they are just still stacking talent in Denver. Love it. Love it. Jakob Poeltl is finalizing a 3-year deal to stay with the San Antonio Spurs. Good to see the Utah boy getting paid. As a part of a 4-team trade that is an expansion of the Bucks-Pelicans deal. Bro, what? The Oklahoma City Thunder, who are sending Steven Adams to New Orleans, will receive George Hill, Darius Miller. Okay, so that's part of that trade. And a second-round picks from Charlotte and Washington. Dude, what in the world? I am just in awe of how many picks the Oklahoma City Thunder have. It's insane. Maurice Harkless to the Heat. Okay. Chris Dunn has agreed to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Love it. Nice, cheap, solid potential in Chris Dunn. Dunn became an unrestricted free agent when the Chicago Bulls declined to extend him a qualifying offer earlier this week. Bobby Portis, 2-year, $7.5 million deal with the Bucks. Solid pickup for the Bucks. DJ Augustine to the Bucks. Another solid pickup for the Bucks. Fred VanVleet, 4-year, $85 million deal to the Toronto Raptors. I honestly thought that he was going to get paid more than that. That man was absolutely hooping. Hooping. And here it is, the Charlotte Hornets signing Gordon Hayward. 4 years, $120 million deal with the Hornets. That's crazy. That's crazy. Gordon Hayward's, I mean, to be fair, he said he had an open mind about where he'd like to play, and I mean, the Charlotte Hornets are probably the worst team in the NBA. They're in the worst shape of any team in the NBA, so that's, I mean, get paid, Gordon Hayward. Avery Bradley left the Lakers and joins the Heat. Jay Crowder leaves the Heat and goes to the Phoenix Suns. Man, the Phoenix Suns, I think they're going to be either the 3rd or the 4th seed next year. I'm not going to die on that hill, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Phoenix Suns are awesome next year. They have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, now Jay Crowder. I can't remember the center's name all of a sudden. DeAndre Ayton. Who else? I mean, that's a solid lineup right there. And they also have a couple of, they had Kelly Oubre, but they traded him. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of their team looks like. But Gary Clark has agreed to a 2-year, $4.1 million deal with the Magic. Jeff Green set to join the 10th team in 13 seasons with the Brooklyn Nets. Be reunited with Kevin Durant. They were teammates with the Supersonics. That's crazy. Raul Neto agreed to a 1-year deal with the Wizards. Rajon Rondo said goodbye to the Los Angeles Lakers. And he, signs a 2-year, $15 million contract with the Atlanta Hawks. So the Hawks get Rondo. Rondo gets to mentor Trae Young and Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn's still really young as well. So big things for the Hawks are coming, I feel like. But we skipped over Pat Connaughton agreeing to a 3-year, $16 million deal with the Bucks. We got forward Paul Millsap. Bill Millsap. Returning to the Denver Nuggets on a 1-year deal. I kind of wish the Hawks could have got Paul Millsap back. That could have been sick. That could have been big for the Hawks. Elfrid Payton agreed to a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Knicks. Carmelo Anthony has agreed to a 1-year deal to remain with the Trailblazers. Did not realize that had happened. Denver Nuggets have pulled the qualifying offer on Torrey Craig, which allows him to become an unrestricted free agent. Denzel Valentine has agreed to return to the Chicago Bulls on a 1-year deal. Tristan Thompson joins the Celtics on a $19 million 2-season deal. Brad Wanamaker agrees to a 1-year deal with the Golden State Warriors. Wes Iwundu has agreed to a deal to join the Dallas Mavericks. Contavious Caldwell-Pope agrees to a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't get it. I don't understand. To be fair, he did pretty well in the playoffs, but Contavious Caldwell-Pope, man, oh man, he is so overpaid every single contract. I don't get it. Nerlens Noel has agreed to a 1-year deal worth $5 million with the New York Knicks. That's actually a really good signing for the Knicks. Jeff Teague, a 1-year deal to play with the Celtics. Solid signing for the Celtics. Javon Carter has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. From the Memphis Grizzlies, Serge Ibaka has agreed to a 2-year deal with the LA Clippers. I actually had not heard this yet. Ibaka will join former teammate Kawhi Leonard in LA. Pretty dope. Bryn Forbes, 2-year deal with the Bucks. Harry Giles, a 1-year deal with the Blazers. Donovan Mitchell, oh man, Donovan Mitchell got paid $195 million over 5 years. That's insane. We got Torrey Craig to the Bucks right after the Denver Nuggets pulled their qualifying offer. We got Kent Bazemore to the Golden State Warriors, which, yeah, he began his career with the Warriors. I forgot about that. Wow, after going undrafted in 2012, I did not know that Bazemore was undrafted. That's impressive. Damian Jones has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. Impressive. The Suns, man, they're just stacking talent. Jonte Porter has agreed to a 3-year, $6 million deal with the Grizzlies. Here we go. Restricted free agent Bogdanovich has signed a 4-year, $72 million offer sheet with the Atlanta Hawks. ESPN has confirmed the Sacramento Kings have 48 hours to match the offer sheet. Otherwise, Bogdanovich, who averaged 15.1 points per game last season, will join the Hawks. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They got Bogdanovich and Gallinari to help out Trae Young. It's going to be, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what this Hawks team can do. Really, the only thing that they were missing was just offensive help for, Trae Young. Like, consistent offensive help. And I feel like they've got that in Bogdanovich and Gallinari. Willie Cauley-Stein agrees to a 2-year, $8.2 million deal with the Mavericks. Pistons trading center Tony Bradley to the Philadelphia 76ers for Zaire Smith. Milwaukee Bucks forward/guard Sterling Brown has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Houston Rockets. Jason Tatum got paid. See, this is Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum both got 5-year, $195 million contracts. I don't see them on equal levels, equal playing fields. I think Jason Tatum is a much better player than Donovan Mitchell, but yeah, I don't know. Jason Tatum got paid. Donovan Mitchell got paid. Honestly, they both deserve it. Who am I to say they don't deserve $195 million? The Memphis Grizzlies re-signed DeAnthony Melton. New York Knicks shooting guard Austin Rivers have agreed on a 3-year, $10 million deal. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty cheap for Austin Rivers, if you ask me. This looks like Oklahoma City Thunder traded to the Indiana Pacers for a future second-round pick. Oh my lord. What in the world? Traded Ed Davis. New York Knicks traded Ed Davis to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Omari Spellman and Jacob Evans and a future second-round pick. And then here we have a big update. This was just yesterday. The Los Angeles Lakers and Marc Gasol are finalizing a 2-year deal, according to reports by Woj. Gasol won a championship with the Toronto Raptors in 2019 and was originally a 2007 second-round pick by the Lakers before being traded to the Memphis Grizzlies in 2008 in a trade that brought his brother Pau Gasol. Wow, I had no idea that happened. Wow. Wow. Can you imagine getting drafted and then getting traded for your brother? Oh, that would be just a big oof. To clear room for Marc Gasol, the Lakers are trading JaVale McGee and future second-round pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Jordan Bell and Alonzo McKinney. Jordan Bell's a baller. He's a baller. McGee won a championship with the Lakers in 2020. Yada, yada, yada. The Raptors will sign former Phoenix Suns Aaron Baines to a 2-year, $14.3 million deal to replace Gasol. Toronto also re-signed Chris Boucher, I think it is. And then the Toronto Raptors and small forward DeAndre Bembry agreed to a 2-year, $4 million deal. So DeAndre Bembry is no longer with the Hawks. That's actually pretty solid. Alright guys, so there you have it. There is the full 2020-2021 free agency thus far. If you would please hit that like button if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Comment down below what you think is the biggest move so far this free agency. And I will see you all in the next one. So, if you're watching this during the day, then have a relaxing rest of the day. And if you're watching this at night, then have a great night sleep. And good night.